Hello and welcome to another episode of Ghost History Medium. Today we are at Historic Speedwell, which is a preserved county park in Morris County. We're actually in the town of Morristown, which also has its own historic connections to the American Revolution. But today we're going to do a walkthrough at Speedwell and see what individuals come forward and any of the history that we can find. Okay, so I just opened up to this location and we did a casual walkthrough, and then this was one of the places where I really wanted to stop, which is interesting because it's in between this house, which looks like it was a living quarters, and this other building behind us. Can you turn around and look at that? That has it looks like a water wheel inside, so it would have been a mill building. So this would have been the man who would have managed the mill. And it's funny, I am getting a very specific man coming up. The name George is coming up, and I also feel like he had a limp. My left leg, I want to do this. I want to limp when I walk. So this gentleman would have been probably into his 80s when he had passed. I feel like he worked here for a long time and lived here. He was very much so related and associated with the manufacturing that was going on here that used the mill. And if I interesting, I don't know why I'm choking, that's interesting. So as I'm feeling into what was made here, it feels like it would have been metal, and I feel like there are nails, or what they want to show me is something that has to do with like doors closing or something. So maybe like hinges and nails, and small iron things, like small iron. I know there's a pond over there, so that would make sense. They would have had to brought the water in and moved it to make the mill. But they want to specifically let me know about more small, delicate things that they would have made here, like nails. I don't know, nails are specifically coming up. Did you just hear that?
No.
I heard a knock.
Oh, no, I didn't hear anything.
All right, we'll check the video. I definitely just heard a knock from that factory building. So this man, he is manager of it, watcher, keeper. George in his 80s. I do feel like he passed away here, and I do feel like he was also in the good. Okay, he wants me to say that he was in the good graces of the family. So I'm not sure if there's another more wealthy family that would have been associated with this building, because I don't feel like this man who's talking to me about with the limp, I don't feel like he would have been the wealthy one, but he's saying I was in good graces with the family, like the wealthy family, and he's saying that there was a bigger, wealthier family. I also, interestingly enough, feel like there was more that was created here than just iron. There was more that was created here than just iron. So I'm not sure if there was another product that they made here as well, because it was not, he's showing me the nails and he's showing me something that was created, but I'm also seeing something more. And then he's talking about horses. Okay. Oh. He's like, what do horses need? And I'm like, grain? And he's like, yeah. That was really funny, because I was like, why are you talking about horses right now? Because, you know, there's always horses that are at these spots. But he was like, okay, so they made flour and grain. He's saying grain and flour. But there were multiple products, and this was a part of a whole, like, multifaceted company. Like, they're saying, like, the company did different things to stay viable. he's also saying it got passed down, changed hands, passed down. Because I'm also like, why is this still preserved? You know what I mean? Like, why is this all still here? And he's saying it was forgotten for a while, but then it was passed down, and then obviously the township or the county took over because of its historic manufacturing preserves. That's what he wants to say there. I'm getting the sense that this man would have, he wants me to feel like he had a little bit too much to drink sometimes. Real character with a limp. He still makes me feel like my leg is he would have walked with a limp and a cane. I don't feel like he had a cane. He might have had a cane, but I'm not really, I feel like he was like, no more. I just like struggled with that. He's talking about something about a bed. I'm not sure if there's like a historic bed in this building or a historic bed somewhere around here that might have been hit. I don't know. That might have been his. I don't know. He's talking about a bed. It's also possible he passed away in his bed, which again was very common back then. The years I want to put to him, which is interesting. What years I want to put to you? I want to be in the 18s. I want to be in the 18s. 1840s coming up with him. Might have been when he passed away was in the 1840s. And the 1840s is coming up. Anything else?
Does he say like what his actual like position was here? Was he a worker, or is he just somebody who lived here?
He was like the overseer, like the grounds overseer and like the business overseer.
Manager? Supervisor?
Yeah, kind of. I would say supervisor.
Okay.
Skilled. He's like, I was skilled. So they kept me. But there's also something that he was in good graces with the family, because I think something else happened. Like another manager or something wasn't in good graces with the family, and he's like, I was in good graces with the family for a long time. And he hawk somewhere. I also feel like he built this home for himself. He's a part of building it. He's very connected to it. I see him in his later years doing like less is more. Like sitting out front, less is more. I also see like a silver cup, like a silver mug, like an old silver mug that he's using to drink. I think this is coffee. It could also be his liquor, but
well, like a flask?
No, not a flask. It's one of those like silver round coffee cups, like coffee mug.
Oh, okay.
Like the very old school silver. I think they were silver.
Tin or silver,
yeah. Sitting out front, and he's drinking his coffee. He might have had even something else to do with the mines, because now he's making me aware that he had knowledge of the mines. So that might have been something he did before coming here, because he's making me aware that he had something to do with the mine. He had knowledge and awareness of the mines before coming here. Yeah, he's a I do feel like this gentleman is very prominent here. I do feel like he's still very connected to the location, but he himself is like he just keeps saying, I'm in good graces. Like I don't feel anything like bad from him or anything like that. He's in good graces.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
He seems pleasant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, chatty. Yeah, he's like, well, I like to talk to the young people who worked for him. Yeah, talkative. Okay. Well, I wonder if we can, let me see. Yeah, okay, so I said the year. I feel like his name is George. There might be a B name associated with him too, but I do feel George is prominent. All right, let's go to the next stop.
Okay.
So we just walked up to this little square area here, and it's surrounded by multiple different buildings. These buildings feel like to me that they would have been a part of, again, the manufacturing. Like it would have been really important, these buildings, in the making of the products. This, yeah, okay. I also want to talk about the workers here. There were a bunch of workers, obviously, who would have come in. This was a fairly large operation at one point in time. What I'm seeing is I'm also seeing them coming out to this area to have lunch. They would have come outside to have lunch. There's working and then going home, and I feel the same thing with the workers. That the workers don't feel like the workers worked on this property. Sorry, I feel like they worked on this property, but I don't feel like they lived on this property. They are saying that there was a fire. The years I actually want to put to that might be 1870s came up, but I am feeling like there was a fire here. And business, I don't feel like went much into the 1900s. I want to say that the functionality of this probably went to, I want to say like the 1920s, 1930s.
Okay.
That it was functioning as a mill, and the iron part of it was much earlier. Like the iron part was much earlier, and then it diversified. They're saying we diversified. Again, like something about having stock in this business. Like there was multiple investors, multiple very wealthy men investors into the success of this business, and for their wealth diversification, they had to They had to make different things. I also feel like there's something to do with wood making here as well. Like there would have been crafting and making wood products. This does kind of, remember I said about the bed before? Like making the bed? I remember I mentioned that?
Yeah.
I wonder if they did make furniture here.
Oh, that's possible.
I'm feeling that as, I don't know why I had said that before. Like make your, you know, there's that saying, make your bed. But I also felt like he like actually made his bed, like constructed his bed. So maybe we'll have to look into that. Yeah, but something about bedposts. Yeah, so they might have had something to do with making furniture here as well at some point. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I just got the impression that at night, I think they have cameras here. I'm not sure, but at night they might see a floating light orb at night.
Okay.
It starts over on the water, and it comes up through casually. Who's that? Who is this? This would have been somebody who had died here.
Are you getting an age or gender?
Yeah, I feel like it's female. I feel like it's an A name, like Abigail. An A name. Don't know why she was down by the water, but floats up. And I would be interested to know if that's something that they have reported here. But yeah, it's a single light. It's is it multiple? I mean multiple. At least one single white floating orb. Very graceful. It feels very cozy and very like family oriented. Like I'm feeling like very family oriented. Like I don't feel like it passed many hands. Like I don't feel like, oh, this guy bought it and ran it for 10 years. This guy got it and had it for 5 years. It feels just like very cozy and very family oriented. Yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna stop there. Maybe this will come up more when we go down to that corner about the orb, because it's interesting the orb came from that corner, and that's definitely where I wanted to go.
Okay.
All right, so let's go down there.
What's the matter? What's wrong?
The energy just got really intense when I started walking towards there. This was one of the places I was really drawn to walk to, like right from the beginning. This tree is an old sycamore tree. I'm sure the website has information on it. It's probably 250 years old. I'm sure this would be original. 250 years from today, that would be...
We're 2022. So 1922, 1822, minus 50. 70? 770?
Yeah, I definitely feel like this tree... Ooh, I'm getting literally tingles all over my legs and all over my body. Okay, so this tree would definitely be original to this this location, in my opinion, just looking at it. And getting this kind of feel from the area. Oh my God, I don't know what's here. I don't know what's there. I don't think I can go there, actually. My arm just started going. Wow, I wonder if something came up to me because I got that really intense feeling on my arm again. You know, like when we have those orbs come to me.
Yes.
I don't think I can go there. Okay, so I just tried to go up to this tree area that I was drawn to, and I felt really intense energy, and I actually had to back up. I haven't experienced that in a really long time. It feels very private. Again, I'm getting the impression of children doing Ring Around the Rosie, like playing children's games around the trees. I don't know why that's happening. That's not why it's private.
Are like people buried here, maybe?
I don't know, but it's just interesting that this is where I felt like the light was coming from. Hold on, there's like sun in my eyes. That I felt like the orb was coming from this area. All right. So I kind of was just clarifying a little bit. You know, I'm just here to say hi. I'm just here to do a walkthrough, and this does feel revolutionary. This something about hiding. Maybe there was a building in this area at the time or something, but something about hiding from the soldiers. But I don't think anything actually came through Morristown. So I don't know why they'd be hiding. Something about hiding. And I'm like, well, you know, you don't have to hide from me. I'm not dangerous. I'm not hearing somebody call out, like looking for somebody and somebody hiding. All right, let me see if I can walk a little bit closer now. No, I can't. That's impressive.
Yeah, you're really affected by whatever's happening.
Yeah, All right, this is okay. It's also possible that what I'm experiencing is not anything from person. I could be experiencing the really ancient energy of the tree. That definitely has happened to me before, where a lot of these really old trees can have a lot of protective or grandfather energy. It's also interesting that some of these really old trees are here this long. It makes you wonder, like, why wasn't this tree cut down? So is there some type of energy that this tree gives off?
It looks fine.
Oh, it's thriving.
It's like one of the widest trees I've seen.
Yeah, and it's also, another thing I'll talk about this is, remember when we went down to Mountainville?
Yeah.
And we sat down by that big tree?
Yeah.
That was a sycamore tree. And they are they thrive by water, which is also really interesting because we've talked about water being a conduit. We've talked about water being a conduit of keeping energy,
yeah, for sure,
and maintaining energy. And there is a pond that's here that's probably been here for 250 years as well.
Yeah.
And then there's a 250-year-old tree. So, you know, as much as this property has been preserved, I don't always feel that the energy is always strongest in the buildings or in the preserved structures. A lot of times there's more importance and more energy and more memory in the landscape. So having old trees, old waterways, old walkways like Native American pathways, caves. You know, it's interesting that a lot of these places that we've gone to have had these really ancient land structures that draw me. So it just kind of adds to the whole feeling of the area, you know. Because these features are here, are we going to have more activity? I don't know. It's just something to think about. Even White Hill Mansion is right by a river.
Yeah.
You know, so many places that we go to are by waterways. I also want to talk about a W name. A W, like, I want to talk about a W name. Like Waterford, or, it's not William. It's not William.
W name.
Wallow or whale, a W name. So I'm also here picking up on a W name. I think that's all I want to talk about here. All right, so we are up by the main house that's here. It's interesting. What I'm feeling here is like happy days. Happy days come, happy days go. But I'm getting a general feeling of goodwill and good feeling with this home. I'm also feeling that it was built 1790s is coming up for when it was built, and I do feel that it would have been a passage center. And what I mean by that is that people would have stopped here on their way to another place. Like there was kind of a tavern-y, open feel to it at some point. I see this family with, okay, so this is a husband and wife. I see this man. He does have facial hair, and how I see it is he has dark hair, dark facial hair. And he brings me to prosperity. He brings me to his girls. So I feel like he had, this might be like 3 daughters or something, like a lot of girls. And how I'm seeing them is they're being presented to me very well dressed. I'm seeing them presented to me in 18th century, like colonial time frame, and also into like 1820s time frame with nice clothes, like very nice, like poofy dresses, but they're younger. I also want to talk about one teenage girl. She would be around the age of 14 or 15. I get the sense that she died around that age. I also get the sense that she died from an illness. Scarlet fever's coming up. I forget what that is, but fever's coming up. I could have just put the scarlet to it, but fever's coming up, that she had an illness. And it's funny, that story, Little Women, is coming up. And I know one of the sisters did die in that book.
I've never read it or watched.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't have watched it. But so the story of Little Women is coming up, and I also feel like there were other sisters. I also feel like maybe a son or two, but I feel like the main glue of the family were these daughters. They were married off, but I do feel like one daughter did die younger, like in her teenage years, and it was devastating, obviously, to the family. She likes her books, so I'm seeing her in her books, seeing the daughters in their books, well learned, well read. They may have even traveled, or they had like worldly experiences. either they traveled or like they had things from other places from traveling. Okay. They knew about stuff. They were very, what I'm gonna say is for like a family of girls in this area, like they were very well educated, aware, yeah. But otherwise, it's like happy times. Happy times.
I've only gotten pleasant vibes this entire time,
Yeah,
minus
me
that
too.
tree.
Well, no, the tree was just power. Like that's all I really felt like was like just pure power.
Yeah.
Just like, and sometimes you don't enter places of power, and you don't need to.
Okay.
At least for opening up reasons. Is there anything else you want to tell me? Okay, I'm not sure if there's clothing on display in there, but they're talking about clothing being kept, clothing on display. Oh my god. And they're like, it could be very loud here. They're like, that was kind of annoying, but they dealt with it, I guess.
Did they have like weddings here or
maybe
something?
Maybe those are the girls that I'm seeing doing Ring Around the Posy.
Sure.
That could be. Because I don't feel like this was a town. I don't feel like there was a school here.
No, this looks like this isn't a town at all.
No. There's a lot of buildings here, but
Places of work, like factories,
yeah.
storage facilities.
An L name wants to come up, like Leonard. Leonard or Leopold, L-E. They had to stay watchful. But yeah, in general, they were really pleased being here.
Okay.
I think that's all I want to talk about. But yeah, this teenage girl. And I think this is different than the white
Floaty.
Yeah. Cooks, laundry, like they had all those kind of people.
The house servants.
Yep, the house servants, pretty classic. Give me something unique. Blue china. Blue china. Like fine china. And one of the daughters married somebody very prominent. Okay, so that wraps up our investigation walkthrough of the Historic Speedwell in Morristown, New Jersey. This is a public state park where you can come and walk around yourself. There's a bunch of buildings here and a ton of history. Can't wait to go back into the history books and see if we can find some of the individuals that I was able to pick up on and also corroborate some of the information. So stay tuned for the investigation reveal.